everyone. I am LotusMaje. I am a self-taught diviner, and I would like to thank you for being patient, for returning, for subscribing while I was away. I am back, and we're getting back into this thing. Today, my microphone is acting crazy, so I had to switch some things up again. I have a whole new setup, so I was in the middle of moving, so just grow with me here. We're gonna go through some growing pains. But outside of that, I wanted to come back and do a reading on Shawn Mendes because if you haven't been keeping up with the news, allegedly he's been introduced to some kind of sex cult. Allegedly. And the way he got there was because of his current girlfriend, which is very questionable because she's like 20 years older than him or something like that. She's like, I want to say she's close to 40 and he's only like what, 25, 22. I'm pretty sure Shawn Mendes is like under 25. I'm pretty sure. But yes, I thought we could do this reading and just get into this thing. But before I get into this reading, I do have to give a disclaimer that all statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. I'm simply a woman on the internet having fun with some tarot cards, learning and practicing, hoping you will learn and practice with me as well. Just enjoy kind of like what I get, what's my interpretations, because these are all intuitive readings. My opinions are not facts. Everything that I am stating moving henceforth is rumors, is alleged, is nothing to take serious. You can believe one thing I say, have what I say. If you choose to believe everything I say, the onus is on you and you must use discernment at all times. I don't care if it's me, another fellow tarot reader, a medium, whoever the case may be. Discernment is always key because tarot should not be used as the end all be all, whether it comes to health, medical, financial matters, whatever the case may be. You, at the end of the day, are the best professional, the best course of judgment when it comes to your life and knows what's going to work for you. Everything does not work for everyone on, on the same at the same time, etc., because time is a construct. It is not as linear as we think it is. So I just wanted to be a disclaimer, to be above board about that. Now, if you are okay with that, if you didn't catch on, this is a tarot channel. I use tarot cards for tarot readings. So tarot readings, mediumship, if numerology, astrology, all of those things are something that does not resonate with your spirit, now is the time to click off and for you to find something else, because I do not want to hold you here and encapsulate and hold in your energy. I want to release that back out into the world because this is the corner of YouTube, release my channel, that is not for you. I'm sure you can find something more entertaining because YouTube is a vast web space. I'm sure you can find something else besides being here and just agitating the spirit. So, if you choose to stay here, know that I am going to agitate your spirit if this is something that you do not like. And at that point, I don't care because you chose to stay here and just keep your negativity. And so I'm going to turn it into energy for my own use. So, there. You've been warned. Um, so, with all of that being said, if you are okay with moving forward, let's get into this reading on Shawn Mendes and see if there is anything that we are going to kind of like find out. Hopefully, it's not something too bad, right? So, we're going to shuffle these here. We're going to see if we can get anything on Shawn Mendes and whether or not he is really caught up in anything. Actually, let me just double check and make sure because I don't want this to be a thing where I'm getting my information wrong. Like, okay, so yes, so and Miley Cyrus is is also a part of this allegedly. Is that true? It's been a year of cults. We're gonna see. But right now, I just want to focus on Shawn Mendes. We're going to focus on Shawn Mendes and if his girlfriend introduced him to some polyamor, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Call here. We're going to get into that because that's all we're focused on. So we have the World card in reverse, the Ace of Coins, and what else here? We have the Star card in reverse. Let me get a reading. I'm actually gonna count that one because it was sticking out. So I have the Four of Swords in reverse that actually came out. But the other ones that fell was the Nine of Wands. We also have the Nine of Coins in reverse. We also have the Two of Wands in reverse, the Ace of Cups in reverse, the Page of Swords in the upright, the King of Wands in reverse, and the Queen of Wands in the upright. All of this is starting to look like this is not boding well for him with these additional cards. But let's get into it. What is the girlfriend, Shawn Mendes' girlfriend's intentions towards Shawn Mendes? Shawn Mendes. So it's funny enough, I had a booklet that kind of flipped out for her. But let's see here. And I'm going to keep both of those. So we have the Magician in reverse, and we also have the Fool. But look what we have for the underlying card here. It's funny that I had to flip this over at that time. We have the Nine of Cups. And in this deck, it looks like Dionysus. Between Shawn and Charlie. Okay, what is this? And again, the underlying card here is the Nine of Cups. It's starting to look like there may be some truth to this. Okay, so before I even get into this, so the Four of Swords, it feels like how can I say it? Like I was tired of making the choices and decisions or something like that for my life, but so it's nice to have somebody else be able to make that for me. Um Maybe she came in at a moment where he was mentally, like he wasn't in the best headspace mentally when he met her, and I think she kind of picked up on that and kind of, you know how some girls, which can be dangerous on either end, how some people get into relationships and it kind of goes into that codependency of like, oh, I see he's hurt and I think I can fix him, I can do something, I can work with this, I can help heal him, mend him, and all these other things. And I think she kind of seen that in him, and she kind of came along and decided to try to help him and fix him. um she kind of seen him like a baby bird, and I think that was kind of initially what drew her to him. But I think he was just mentally in a space where it kind of feels like mental fatigue. It could be depression, but it really just feels like mental fatigue. I was tired. I'm not in the right headspace when the two met. And I think that also made it very easy. It's on top of the age gap, made it very easy for her to kind of like, I don't want to make it seem like she's like a spider or anything, or something very evil, but it just made it easier for her to kind of like infiltrate. I'll say that. Here we have the Fool and the Magician. Now, when I first got these cards for her, I felt like she may be, how can I explain it? It feels like those the Troshka dolls. I think that's what they call them, the Russian dolls, where it's like it's the you have the miniature doll and it's stuffed in another doll and it's stuffed in another doll and then it's stuffed in another doll. This to me feels like she may be like the medium sized doll and he's the small one, but there's someone bigger that's like encapsulating the whole thing, that's like in control of the whole thing. There's a bigger um director over this, but she is like the puppeteer. But she's only following the script that was given to her from the director, if that makes sense. Um, I feel like it just gets bigger as the wheel goes. You know what I'm saying? Um, it feels like, yes, she may be the one who has more ties and stuff to it, but she's not like the big mastermind everybody wants her to be. She's not like the end of the tunnel. There's something bigger with this. Again, if with the Magician being here, but it's coming up in reverse, they usually speaks to things of like manipulation, coercion, um, It can also be speaking to kind of like she's not the big head boss. There's something else behind it. So there is some things of that nature that's coming up. Also with the Fool here being in reverse, and you notice you hold the world there. She's not the master of her own destiny or his destiny in a sense. And that's why I think the strength card is here in reverse for both of them. Neither one of them are kind of like in control. Neither one of them are fully empowered by this. Their power has kind of been wrestled away from them, so to speak. It is like the lion in the cage that is eventually being tamed. For you, this is all showing up in the upright, but for me, this is all in reverse. Okay, so I just because it's the flipped angle, so I have to just keep reiterating that. So let's see here. Why do we have this Four of Swords here for Shawn Mendes? So why we have this Four of Swords here? I will say this does feel something similar to where people say if you're like in a um, Stockholmy kind of like relationship where you feel like you have the full autonomy, you aren't really being um, physically manipulated in a sense, but you are emotionally and mentally being manipulated. So you kind of like walk yourself into being controlled. You kind of just hand over the reins. Up and let's see what we got here. So funny enough, look at that. And every single time I see the spider with the create and it's coming up in reverse like that, because again, it's coming up in reverse for me, it just seems like you have got yourself caught in a web of your own design. You have once again stepped into something mentally you just couldn't figure, you somehow figured your way into, but now you can't kind of figure your way out of. It kind of makes me think of like those, the Chinese the little finger things you get stuck, but it's like once you put both of them, you don't know how to take your finger out of it. It kind of feels like you walked yourself into that, and now you can't figure. Now your dumb self can't figure your way out. And funny enough, again, another card that pops out is rest. Now remember with the Four of Swords, that also can speak with like mental fatigue. Like I said, like being wanting to take away your rest. What we're getting here for her is something about rest. Again, it just feels to me like I wanted to hand over the control of my life to someone else because I was tired of kind of like making the decisions. It's nice for once, as sick as this may sound to some people, there is a whole psychology behind it. Again, it just feels like for once it feels nice that I can hand over my every thought and care to someone else and I don't have to. Some people who are in like BDSM relationships say they kind of experience stuff like this where they, it's nice to like hand over the control. That's kind of like what I'm getting. And it's funny I'm using that analogy because this is allegedly all a sex cult. So, and I mean, this is Hollywood, so wouldn't surprise me. I feel like this is probably a bit more tame to what we all usually hear in Hollywood. And this is the only card that is coming up in the upright for me here. Don't know if per se this is saying like this is a good choice for them because right now they're kind of like in a dark space, or if it's saying like right now the power is going to be in someone else's hand, so they have the strength to kind of like work through whatever darkness brought these two together, Shawn Mendes and his girlfriend Charlie, whatever darkness brought these two together, until they learn how to not be codependent, until they learn how to heal from it, until they learn how to kind of like stand on their own, take literal control back over their lives. This is where they are. And look at that. The underlying card is intentions. Sorry. And it is coming up in the upright. So maybe they went into it with the best of intentions, but it's not providing A positive result. I'm not gonna say the correct, a positive result, or technically like the outcome that they probably went into it looking for. Remember, we did have the Queen and King of Wands for the underlying cards, or they were some of the cards that popped out when I was shuffling for Shawn Mendes. But the King of Wands came up in reverse. So to me, it feels like, are you being led astray by your queen? And again, not wanting to put this all on her, but usually sometimes the Queen of Wands can speak to a very a woman who uses her feminine wiles, her beauty for the wrong reasons. Can you give me any more information in regards to Shawn Mendes and his program? Again, I don't know what this rest. What is it with all of this restlessness, independence, appraisal? This did come up in reverse, so I wonder again if this is speaking to like I just didn't care for kind of like the independence and freedom I was experiencing. Like I could, take it or leave it. So can you give me any more insight and information in regards to Shawn Mendes and his girlfriend Charlie? Any other insight? So I did get four cards, and I'm gonna read those now. Well, yeah, I got four cards. One second. Okay. So the four cards are Anubis in the upright, which speaks to preservation, neutrality, and obligation. We have the Ageless, which comes up in reverse. It speaks to healing, graciousness, and acceptance. Somebody has not accepted that. Somebody has not accepted that pain. Yeah, that's the best way. I feels like, and this may be on Shawn Mendes's part. It just feels like somebody has not learned to accept the fact that that pain is a part of life, and it could be because he's just very young. It feels like I'm really leaning into nihilism. Then we have the keeper of worshipers, and this also comes up in reverse, but it speaks to curiosity, listen, listen, madness, and forbidden knowledge. Then we have Thanatos, which comes up in the upright, which speaks to completion, support, expediency. I wanted the quick way out. I wanted the quick way in. I thought I could take this shortcut, and if I, maybe I was promised a shortcut or a surefire way to get around this, to get over the healing process, to speed through this, to move on, to move along. And in my haste, I actually, hopped out the frying pan, hopped out the kettle into the frying pan or whatever that saying is. Um, I hopped out the hot water into the frying pan, the boiling water into the frying pan. Like now I'm gonna have a quick, fast burn instead of the slow burn, instead of me actually building up to the resiliency or the wisdom to know the difference. I leapt in. Now I'm really in hot water. So it's weird to me that preservation and neutrality is also a part of this because I'm not sure what would be neutral about this, but I'm also kind of wondering because of the butterfly here on Thanatos with the transformation aspect of it all. I'm wondering if this is like the path he kind of has to walk. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out with like a tell-all book or he kind of gets in a position of that girl who was on Smallville who was caught up with Maxim or Nixum, whatever it was called. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like that, and then he later comes out to tell his truth because some criminal behavior or something happens. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully he goes through this healing process, this hurt or whatever that he needs to do before it's too late. But hopefully he actually learns a lesson and take control. I don't want to say that this is necessarily a bad thing for him, but it does seem like it was like a natural or necessary progress in his life. I don't know if he really would have avoided it because of I guess you can call it fate or destiny, but yeah, I don't think if he would have necessarily avoided it. Yeah, I would say if it's me, I would not be surprised if he is caught in a sex cult. It kind of does feel like a cult. It kind of does come off like cultish to me. Um, and the psychology behind it for me is just kind of like what I keep feel like that keep coming through for me is that it's because I was mentally fatigued. I was tired. Yes, probably mentally depressed or sorry, mentally depressed. Probably depressed or, just going through a lot of anxiety or whatever the case may be. And I just really didn't want to deal with it. And so it was just easier to hand that off to somebody else. It almost feels like some um, probably on the along the lines of like some scientology type stuff. Honestly, it's kind of feels like some Tom Cruise Scientology type stuff to me. And I would not be surprised if that's pretty much where it is, allegedly. I say the other thing is I feel like he again, and this usually is something you see with a lot of cults, a sense of the people feel like they finally found their tribe and belonging. Even though there's like a lot of red flags, like normal people, I can't even say normal people, like everyday people who have a bigger community or, have other people on the outside who kind of love them and be there for them and talk to them and things like that. They probably wouldn't fall into this so easily because a loved one would be concerned or tell them like, hey, stop talking to those people. I don't think he really has that right now in his life for whatever reason. I don't know what's up with his family or friends and things like that. Or maybe they are the ones that's kind of like doing this cry for help, like, hey, we need the public to pay attention to what's going on with Shawn Mendes. But it just feels like he finally feels like he found his people. And I also think he feels like this is probably going to be like the tunnel that's going to lead him into finding his like creativity again because I think there was something else that was a part of this as well. Um, he kind of like hit a wall creatively and he was hoping or he still is hoping or he's finding and discovering that um being with this person, this fake girlfriend or whatever, this recruiter, whatever she is allegedly, to him, he probably felt like, oh, she's gonna help like spark my creativity, essentially with the people that I'm meeting through her and her having like such a vast life experience over what I have and etc. etc. And yeah, she just seemed like a sparkly new toy that's kind of just led him off the cliff. Mm, I'm gonna say that's what I'm getting. Again, the fruits of my labor. Yeah, this is like a downturn point in his life. And again, he was trying to rush through some process. I don't know if it was like getting over the breakup with him and Camilla, or if it's something personal, even more personal that happens in his life that he was trying to kind of like heal and recover from or move on from. But I'm gonna pull three more cards and just kind of see what's gonna be the outcome of this because I really hope this doesn't end darkly for Shawn. Because he seemed like he was. We have those two cards. Anything else that's over? Spirit community health. People ball street. How? What is the outcome of this? Ooh, the way this flew out of here. Whoa. That shot across the room. So we have a lot of pages here. Okay, so first was the Page of Wands in reverse. I wonder if he's gonna walk away from the industry in a sense. And then we have the Eight of Cups here. And usually the Eight of Cups again it speaks to kind of like leaving something behind, leaving behind old thoughts or feelings, leaving behind those kind of like dreams and wishes that we have for ourselves. And he's going to become more cold and callous, it feels like, with this Page of Wands. I don't know exactly the direct outcome, but I wonder if he is going to kind of come away from the industry completely and kind of move away from it all, I'm gonna do this just in case, and kind of move away from it all and just kind of like not want to deal with it, and maybe become more of an analytical person instead of a more like passionate and emotionally driven person, as I feel like that's what he was before. And I wonder, oh my God, so that may also be the other thing to this. So I know I remember seeing something where for a long time people thought he was gay. Um, I'm not getting that in here. Like it might have been a point in his life where he probably questioned his sexuality for sure, especially when people kept like gaslighting him, I guess, in the sense of being like, you're gay. But I think the other underlying thing to this is that that's what this is, this discovery, the creativity, the healing. I think it is maybe some um I'm just gonna have to say it, some sexual trauma, that he's kind of trying to heal from, and he figured this was the best way to do it. And I wonder if a lot of that owed him, that was led by his emotions and being in tune with his emotions and his thoughts and stuff like that. If there's gonna be a part of him, he's gonna feel like he's gonna have to remove or cut away in order to move forward, and that's just probably gonna make him more guarded and more like analytical and not the same Shawn Mendes that we knew coming out when he first was like stepping on the scene. Um, I think that's definitely going to change for him. And look, the other underlying card here is the King of Swords, and it's coming up in reverse. That's disappointing. I would have thought if you're going to go through all of this, especially something so like that could be very detrimental to your mental health, you would think you would come out, yes, mentally stronger with this Page of Swords here, but you will also kind of come out more driven and maybe more assured in who you are. I feel like that was the whole point of this. I feel like there's some, I'm trying to reaffirm my sexuality, which is sad. I should have just left the boy alone. The public is weird. Okay. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm getting. Let me know what you all got. What's your thoughts down in the comment section below? Um, if he is caught up in some kind of sexual call, I hope it does not get to a point where um it breaks him, or somebody gets hurt before something is done and changed. I hope he kind of I hope he not kind of, but I hope he actually finds his way out of it and heals and starts walking the path back to the light instead of into the darkness. So yeah, again, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Make sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe so you know the next time I upload, because again, I am back, guys. So yeah, thank you all for joining me for this reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.